All right. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody see me? So you guys can see me, so we're doing a little early tonight. Um, Obviously we're a little early. If people can hear me and see me, just everybody. I know everybody said okay. Everybody can hear me and see me. How does it look? Because I can't see myself right now on my screen. How does it look? I see all of you, Dee and Annette, Nana, Joe, Carol, Full Metal Jackalope, which I love that name. How do I sound? Can you hear me? Because we're doing something new tonight. Because of some changes, there's an echo. Okay, there's an echo. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay, echo, echo, echo. Let's see what I can do about the echo. Okay. Kind of red. Yeah, well, that's the light. Okay. Let me see what I can do here for about the echo. I'm using something new here. Yeah, like change audio. All right, do that. That's on. Audio should be back now. How about, can you hear me now? Now it's that old Verizon commercial from 10 years ago. How about now? Can see your lips moving. Okay. Um, See, this is the way we have to do things now, being that unfortunately, YouTube, you can see any echoes, any problems. It's perfect. Joe is saying, I need Tammy and Katina, all of you. Please chime in because once again, I cannot see myself. Sound is back. Yes. Any echoes or anything like that? That's important. Very important. Okay. Okay. Let me shut some of these things down so my computer can work a little faster. Should probably shut all that down. I'm just going to completely close out Chrome. Okay. Any echoes? I know you keep saying yes. Just tell me. I hear no echoes, or I do have echoes. Slight echo. Okay. Huh. Getting feedback from something. All right. That's turned off. If I could hear myself, I would know how to fix this. Lighting change. I'm not changing the lighting. That is just the kind of light that I. Okay. Well, I think that we're just gonna have to deal with this. I think we're just gonna have to deal with this for this evening. I'm supposed to, where I'm looking at over here, I'm supposed to be able to see myself on the screen, but I don't. I don't know why, but it's not important that I see me. It's important that you see me and that you can comment, and that can all work. Hold on one second. Okay, if you're ever wondering what Ed's phone looks like, this is it right here. That's what all the interviews that you've heard for basically the last year, it's been done on this phone right here, all recorded on that phone. Okay, no echo. Okay, we're all good. Well, we're a little bit early. Maybe some of you were in the group just seeing a little bit of. Thank you, Jessica. Some of you were seeing a little exchange I had with a guy named Robert Boyd, and I decided I had to block him. Here's the reason, and he's more than welcome. Of course, this video is going to be free to everybody, and if he wants to go over to YouTube and somebody wants to direct him over to YouTube, they can do that. But here's the deal. I, of course, have no problems with people disagreeing with me or any of you. In fact, as I state many times, all of you and I disagree on what we think happened in a particular disappearance. But when it gets to the point where somebody comes in there slashing and burning, telling everybody how they don't know what they're talking about, and just leave everybody do their job and everything else, and then the person says something that misses a major fact of a case, like the picture, like Robert didn't seem to know about, I start to get suspicious. Lou, you're not late tonight. And maybe the audio and the video is going to. The issue here is if you see down in the, you'll see that wire stream little thing down in the corner. I have to use that to live stream on YouTube now. Gene, I do have the early ones online. Yes, I do. They are on at the YouTube, right here on YouTube, right on the Unfound channel. Now it's major echo. I just can't figure this out. No sound now. Man, this is going up and down and all around for this connection. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just going to have to live with it, everyone. I really don't know what to tell you otherwise. Unfortunately, this is the way that this has to be streamed now. I have to have a third-party app involved to live stream. This is new to YouTube within the last couple weeks. This is the problem I had last week. And unfortunately, that's what's going on. But I have sound Just echo. Well, I hope it's not too bad of an echo. I really don't know where the echo is coming from. I think it's... Let me do something here. Let me do this. Okay. I really don't know where this is coming from. But in any case, when he comes in and does something like, when anybody comes in and does something like that, I have to start questioning their motives. Are they truly saying that they just want everybody back off, or do they have an agenda that they don't want to talk about? And being that this person, Robert Boyd, didn't know about the picture that was taken of Thomas that night, and the reason we know that is because Penny talked about it in the interview. Obviously, this person, Robert, did not even listen to the interview that I did with her last summer, meaning this is not a person who really knows what's going on. But then on the other hand is saying, well, I talked to the AG's office and I talked to this person and this person came to me. It, to me, sounds like a troll. After 120 cases, you get a feel for that. And I'm sure some of you that saw that exchange got the feel for it too. You don't have to do 120 cases like I have to feel that way. But you've seen enough trolls and enough disappearances to know. And it just felt to me like he was in there in the group, just to say stuff and then just say, well, I'm just voicing my opinion. Well, you know, everybody has an opinion, but that doesn't mean they're all equal. I mean, if I were to comment on theoretical physics, it would certainly be an opinion, but it certainly wouldn't be very informed, right? I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion, but that doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. That's kind of the way I look at a lot of this stuff. And when Gene, you're fine. Hey, get on with the show. Okay, Gene. But I just wanted to cover that. I don't want to ever think that I'm blocking something. D, we're talking about something that went on in the group that you can go see right now. I don't want everybody to think that I block people because they don't agree with me. Okay? In fact, if I blocked everybody who didn't agree with me in the group, there would probably be only like 100 people there. Instead, we're approaching 5,000. Instead. So I think I'm very accommodating to all persons' opinions. I am not accommodating for people who tell other people to shut up and you don't know what you're talking about when they obviously show they don't know what they're talking about either. Those people are always going to get blocked. Always. Thank you, Valerie, for sure. Definitely agree with that. Cherie is in as... Cherie, I'm not... maybe, Cherie, you want to type out. Cherie, you can see everybody. She's in blue. She is the one looking out for trolls tonight. And she has the wrench, and I came up with a nickname for her, but I'm not going to say it. Cherie, if you want to tell everybody the name that I came up with last week, you can. So, but Cherie, we don't all agree on the think tank either. That's true, Cherie. I think that as the guy who kind of controls all this stuff, I think I'm as accommodating as any podcast host out there as far as opinions. So there's that. Let me get this pulled up. Everybody can talk amongst themselves for a little bit while I pull up this right here. Because I got on a little early. I'm glad this is working. Yeah, Tammy. Okay, Tammy. I know you're not like that. So we're going to get to the show, and it's a little after 9. I thank everybody for tuning in tonight once again. If things look a little different, if they sound a little different, if you notice that little wire stream thing down in the corner, it's because things are different. Because YouTube is now forcing people who live stream to use a third-party app to stream. And I worked on it. I was telling Cherie earlier today, I worked on this for 2 hours to make this thing work. From like about 11 till 1. I had to try to figure this out today. So I'm glad it's working. The Wench. Actually love it. Actually, Cherie, I guess. It's the Wench is what I call Cherie. as the person who controls all of the trolls with that little wrench that she has beside her name. So I thought that was pretty funny. All right, so there you go. The wrench wench, Cherie. But I want you to know, everyone. In fact, we're going to talk about Cherie right now. And I have to give her a big compliment. It's on my agenda for tonight. After Devin Brown Bucetta's episode last Friday, Cherie took it on her own, upon herself, to do a little more digging. And what she found out was that the father of Devin's daughter, the guy who came to Pennsylvania to take her daughter back to Florida, Cherie was able to find out that this guy has a lot of felonies against him, and a lot of them has to do with custody arrangements. I did not find that out. That was Cherie. Cherie did that on her own. All right. Fantastic. And so I don't know if she's been able to talk to Wilshire yet. I did let Wilshire know what Cherie found, but I told Wilshire I did not find this. My assistant, Cherie, did. And I don't know if they're going to get together. But Cherie, if you want to take an opportunity maybe just to type a little bit of what you found so people can read that, please do if you feel like doing that. But that is an update already. Hello, Blaze. What's going on? Thanks for coming in tonight. Chloe, Katrina, Layla, Layla Brooksmith, who I now know your real name, Layla, but I won't tell anybody. Kay O'Neill, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. Once again, if it looks and sounds a little different, it's because it is. But, and then got to give props to Carrie too. Okay, Cherie, if you want to do that, that's great too. But Cherie found some very interesting information that kind of opens up the possibilities. And this is something that Wilshire had no idea about, had no idea in the last 13 years that this guy had some charges against him, against other women after Devin, who he had kids with. So Cherie, great job on that. We haven't found out about the phone records, no yet, Dee. Maybe Wilshire has. She hasn't let me know yet. So I'm not going to say, Layla, what your real name is. Don't worry about that. But I wanted to give you an update. K-Boys, what's up? I just wanted to give you all the listeners. This is the kind of things that I like to hear about, even if it is one of my assistants doing this. I want to let everybody know this is what we're trying to do Unfound. And that doesn't mean the case is solved, but when you find pertinent information like that, that's what Unfound is trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. Get people motivated to look into some of these things and see if there are more facts to be gotten after you hear an interview. And that's what happened. Sharon, thanks for binging on Unfound. You'll be glad to know it's a healthy addiction. Did everybody so Cherie, thank you very much for that work. And thank you for everything you do for Unfound. It's great work. So it's really good. Really, really, really good. And I'll be interested to see what Wilshire finds out about that. And if I get any phone information, if Wilshire, she is under no obligation to tell me what the phone records say. But if she does, and she gives me permission to talk about it with all of you, then I will do that. I think she will. So we'll see when that happens. So Cherie's right now is typing down there what she found out, so you can read that and you guys can discuss that, and that's fine. And I'll just keep going. Everybody get their Powerball tickets for tonight, $550 million. Had to go get a couple tickets. I went out about 7 o'clock this evening and got a couple. All of you some of you have seen how I've been losing some weight. I've lost 9 pounds since I came back to Florida. I weighed 100.8 pounds when I got up this morning. When I got back here from Pennsylvania, I weighed 189.2. So I've been hitting it really hard, limiting myself to about 1,400 calories a day, except for my cheat day on Saturdays. And then I've been seeing a personal trainer twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. So I see him tomorrow. And Blake is a really good guy. He's in the group now. He's in the group, in the discussion group, if you ever want to meet him. So, Carla, we were just talking about Cherie doing a great job. And we talked about, Carla, of course, you already know what was going on in the group before I got on here regarding that guy, Robert Boyd. So that's what I was talking about, Carla. You haven't missed too much. what else do I want to talk about? We have another update about another case, and this is a big deal. I mean, this is as big a deal as, you can kind of get in a case, except for actually solving it. I'm very, very happy to say, and maybe some of you know this already. Thank you, Tammy. Dawn Turner, the mother of Chris Turner, was able to get her son's missing persons case reopened in Las Vegas a couple days ago. I cannot even begin to tell you how big of a deal that is. When she posted it, and did she contact? I saw her post something because I'm friends with her on Facebook, and I don't know if I contacted her or she contacted me first. But that case is now a missing persons case in Las Vegas. Again, if you don't know what happened, that's a case that we covered back in August of 2017, so like 2.5 or a year and a half ago. That's a case where he disappeared, and then his girlfriend, who could be called a suspect in his disappearance, she and her mother went to Metro and told them, "Oh, he's not missing. We just saw him the other day. In fact, he came over to our house. He's not missing." So on the strength of that testimony, Metro closed the case. And of course, since then, it has driven Dawn nuts, as it should. Because, of course, she doesn't believe the sighting, and she has every reason to believe that foul play was involved. Well, she's been calling. She's gone down to Las Vegas, has had virtually no help, no results whatsoever. But then, I don't know who this person was, but she got some friend of hers involved somehow. I don't know if this person had connections or whatever else. But Metro got Metro to reopen the case. So Chris Turner is now officially, again, a missing person in Las Vegas. And, there's something that I think I've learned a lot from that case. One of the things I tell a lot of my guests is, here's what you can't do. You can never let that case be closed. All right? I don't care if it's a year old or 20 years old. Okay? If it's closed, good luck getting it opened again. I mean, if you think that you're having problems, talk to the police now. If they close that case, good luck. And I think that's what I've learned from Chris Turner's case. And I've been able to pass that along to others. And luckily, I don't know of any other of Unfound's cases where the case has been closed when it shouldn't be closed. I don't know of any. Maybe it's possible, but I don't think so, because that is a nightmare. I'm telling you, Dawn Turner has been living since on top of her son disappearing and probably being murdered, probably. That the case was only open for like a month and that got closed just added to everything else. And so what that means is Las Vegas has done nothing on that case since that happened. Nothing. But now it's reopened again, and I'm hoping that somebody at Metro listens to the interview I did with her. And I don't want to get into some things that Dawn found, because I think she sent them to me personally. I don't know if she posted them. But she's found out a lot of information recently that we did not know when the interview was done in August of 2017. So she hasn't been resting on her laurels. She's been out there trying to get more information. And so that's another update. Of course, if you got the newsletter, I had quite a few updates for some cases in the newsletter. And this is something that I just found out, I think, yesterday. So I wanted to pass it along to all of you. Yes, please go back and re-listen to that one, Nana. Chloe, yes. Right, Tammy? Yep. Yeah, the New Jersey one, Fran's dad. Yeah, I don't think that one's closed, Blaze. But, yeah. Hey, Joyce, what's going on tonight? Good to see you. Good to see you. What's going on, Whitney from the Texas Panhandle? Thanks for tuning in tonight. So I wanted to update you on that. I kind of mentioned the newsletter. If you did not get the newsletter, please contact me. I got to use MailChimp this time, and I understand maybe some people had some formatting issues, and maybe some people, it went to their spam folder when it usually doesn't do it when I was sending it from the regular Google account. So if you think that you're on the list and you didn't get it, first I would go to your spam folder. I sent it last Saturday, so that would be 20th, 19th, 16th. You should have gotten it then, maybe late that night. And if you didn't, please contact me. If it's not in your spam folder, contact me and I'll get it sent to you. Jessica loves the case app updates. Okay, yes. Okay, well, I try to give them if there is anything, Jessica. So the newsletter was sent out last Saturday, and it was my MailChimp, which made it a lot easier for me, and that's the way it'll be coming from now on. And I don't know if you know this, but we have almost 1,000 people on the newsletter list, which is crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, compared to the amount of downloads and everything, that's not a big number. But to have people on a newsletter list and they're there by choice because all of you contacted me and wanted to be on the list, that's amazing. And I deeply appreciate it. And I love writing those newsletters. I really do. I really do. And it keeps my writing crisp. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I do creating them. So there you go. I got it when I said I didn't. Sorry. Oh, you did get it, Cherie. I see. Okay. Bree says, yes, the formatting was weird on my end. I think the formatting was weird because of a couple of the pictures that I used. I think. I will check that for next month. I think it was the pictures. I don't think it was the text. That's what made it all weird. But I will do a little practicing before the middle of April gets here, and hopefully next month's will look a little better. But I'm going to be using MailChimp from now on because it allows me to send as many out as I want at one time. If you saw in the group, there are now a couple maps up from where a listener who actually went out there believes Thomas Brown's remains were found. It's her best guess, giving what she knows about the area, what she's heard, where she saw the cops, cars parked, etc. And so if you missed those are in the group. I posted a couple of them, and I want to post a couple more. Didn't want to give you a deluge of pictures all at one time. She also took some pictures of what that area looks like. And, you know, you can form your own opinions if you think that his remains were found by accident or kind of sort of like on purpose. Okay, so I'll be posting some more pictures. But I think I've posted all the aerial pictures that she sent me that I thought the best ones. She sent me maybe 4 or 5. I picked out the 2 that I thought were the best and posted them. It's a twin thing. What's going on? Blaze, I hope you have new subscribers tonight. I've been spreading the word to watch tonight. Your pants are on fire, Cherie. Okay. So there's that. And the Thomas Brown map. So I wanted to update you on that. And what else do I have going on? Oh, here's some other thing. You saw that I posted the cover for volume number 5. I'm finally getting some time to work on the books. However, I do need some new transcribers, okay? But it's not really transcribing. It's not, okay? It's not where you're going to have to listen to the whole thing and type everything out, and it takes a lot of time. Actually, using YouTube, I am now able to get the interviews in a text form. The problem is that it's all one big paragraph. So the words are there. All people need to do is put them into what I say and what the guest says. I say and what the guest says, and break it up. If anybody is interested in helping me do that, and would be starting on season 2, so like the first. Hey, Carrie, I need to talk to you. You're not in trouble. Actually, I got some questions for you. Cherie and I have been talking, so I'd like to talk to you about something regarding Unfound. So maybe after this or tomorrow, after the show or tomorrow, we can have a back and forth. But I'm going to be looking for some new transcribers. Once again, not transcribers, really just formatters. That's what I'm looking for. If you'd like to do that, it does pay. It doesn't pay a ton of money, but I'm willing to pay you for your time. And I'm going to try to just limit it one interview per person. I think I learned my lesson on that. So if that is something that you think you'd be interested in formatting these interviews that the text is already exists, please contact me either through Facebook Messenger or Unfound at podcast@gmail.com, and maybe we can work something out. I'm going to also be announcing this on Friday. Luckily, almost all of the interviews for Volume 5 are done. Okay, I just have one more left that's about half done. And then I'll be able to go into Volume 6 and get into Season 2 because I really want to get these books churned out. I really do. I feel bad that I've gotten so far behind on this, but I think that I can catch up fairly quickly with a little help. So, thank you. All right, Carrie. All right, Kay O'Neill. All of you, I'm never going to, I'm just contact me. You can do it right now. Just send me a message on Messenger or the email address, and I'll tell you what's going on. Okay, I will give you more details now. I'm not going to go too much further into it than that. Okay, so there's that. Once again, I'm going to be talking about this in the news section of Friday's episode too. What else is going on? JeffWise.net. Little did I know. That's okay, Layla. Don't worry about it. Little did I know that I was going to quickly become a Disappearance of Flight 370 expert. But as maybe some of you know, and I posted this in the group, I bought the book, The Taking of Flight 370, written by Jeff Wise, who was a guest on Unfound back in July of 2017. He has a very unique opinion based on facts about what happened to Flight 370. Well, he has another book out just out a few weeks ago. I bought it, I read it, and he and I exchanged a couple emails. Well, I sent him a pretty long email about Flight 370, about some of my prior experience in magic. And the reason that came up is because he talks about magic in the book and how he compares the taking of Flight 370 to a magic trick. I told him that I used to be a stage manager for a magic show. Yes, I did, for 4 years. And he wanted to hear more about that. So on the strength of my response, he is going to be posting my email as a guest post on his website, jeffwise.net, which is a very popular website regarding Flight 370. So when he does that, I'm thinking it's going to be within the next couple days. I will post it in the group. I will post it on the page. Of course, I will tweet about it and everything so you can see what I wrote. Okay? And so I'm very excited about that. And I deeply respect Jeff because he's a guy who has stuck to his guns since the beginning. When everybody was saying that the jet was going to be found in the southern Indian Ocean, he said, no, it's not, and here's why. And he's the only one that's still right 5 years later. And I deeply respect people like that who just stick to the facts no matter what other people may be saying to them and making fun of them and everything. And that's what Jeff does, and that's why he gets so much of my respect. That's why I bought both of his books. That's why I gave both of them 5-star reviews on Amazon. So if you haven't bought the book, it's an ebook, $3.99. It's a quick read, really informative. I would recommend it. And then I will be posting, when he posts my guest blog on his site, I will make sure that all of you know about it. Yeah, Cherie is saying we're trying to get to 5,000 as quickly as possible in the discussion group. I think we're almost to 4,600 now. I can remember when there were 62 people in the group. 62. I remember it like it was yesterday. It seems like yesterday. That had to have maybe been November 2016, December 2016, and now we have almost 5,000 people on it. It's amazing. I'm just blown away. All of you are way too nice to the program. I just cannot believe it. So, Cherie, I thank you for getting people to get to that 5,000 mark. I think that is a big deal, and I'm glad Cherie has brought that up. When did the email come out? I didn't get it. Valerie, regarding the newsletter, that would have come out this past Saturday. Carla, did he say in the book where it could be found? I would urge you to read the book, and yes, he does. He does, Carla. But I would urge you to read the book, because if I just say it right now, it's going to seem like some conspiracy theory. But there is data and other things to support it. Okay? But he does. Yes, he doesn't leave you hanging at the end. All right, Carla. So I think it's a good read. It's a quick read. I read it. Really, I'm a fast reader. Probably in a couple hours, but it was a great $3.99 spent. It really was. Okay. One more thing, and I don't want to hit this thing too hard. I don't want to hit this topic too hard, and then we'll get into some questions people ask me. I've gotten some emails recently that were kind of more of a personal nature. People who listen to the program who contact me, and let's just say I don't think that they want to talk about the cases that Unfound is covering. All right, let's just leave it at that. I want everybody to know I'm a happily single guy. I'm a straight guy. I love women. But I'm really not in the market right now. And I think that there are just some principles that I have regarding this program. And one of them is I would never date any guests. Okay? I would never date anybody in a family of a missing person. Okay? I think that would be wrong. Both of those would be very, very, very wrong. Okay? Because I have to maintain, I think, a professional distance from it. Okay? I think that. Raise his eyebrow. Haha. There's that. Okay? I would never date any of my assistants. Emily, Cherie, I love them both. Emily's been with me since about May of 2017. Cherie came on board. When was it, Cherie? About August or September of last year, maybe a little before that. I'm very close with both of them, and we have our discussions, we have our arguments and everything, but I deeply respect both of them, and I think they've done great things for the program, as have other people, okay? But I would never date or be romantically involved with anybody I work with for this program, okay? And on top of that, yes, Cherie, it's not, yeah, Unfound is not a dating site. And thank you, Layla. And on top of that, even though I love all of the listeners, okay, I also think that it's best off that I not have any relationships with the listeners too. That is not to say that I don't want to be friends with all of you. I hope to run into some of you at some point, somewhere. I think that would be great. You know how much I enjoy these nights when we talk back and forth. The Sunday night program with the think tank, which is a smaller group, the supporters, the Patreon people, the PayPal people. I love you all, but in my capacity, I think that it's important that I am viewed as somebody who is just kind of, there's a fine line between myself and the subscribers, the listeners, and everything else. Thanks, Blaze. But I've just gotten a couple messages recently. I would never bring this up otherwise. I would never bring this up unless I wasn't starting to get the kind of a little heebie-jeebies a little bit from a couple people who contacted me about, don't get me wrong, behind the scenes, I talk cases and things going on with true crime with listeners all the time, and it's fantastic. I love it. All right? And those people know who they are. But I've had a couple people that kind of only brought that up so they could start asking me about other things. And that's when I'm like, okay. So I'm a friendly guy. I'm a good guy. The guy that you see on this show is exactly the person that you will see in person when we meet sometime. But really, I think that when it comes to, and I'm a single guy, hopefully sometime down the road, girlfriend or whatever, it's probably going to be somebody that is outside of true crime. Okay, that's what it's probably the way that's going to have to be. Okay. And, you've heard me talk about, for example, Crime Con. It is my opinion that some of the hosts go to Crime Con just so they can meet some of their listeners for things. This is a PG rated show, so I'm just going to leave it at that. There's no doubt in my mind. And we know about other programs that post pictures of their listeners and things like that. You know that goes on. That does not go on here. Okay? That does not mean I don't love all of you. The respect and everything that you give to Unfound, I could have never imagined this when I started it 2.5 years ago. Could have never imagined the respect you show the listeners and how you talk to them. I can never imagine it. But from a professional standpoint, I just have to keep a little distance. And I hope everybody understands that. Okay? I'm just not that type of person. Like I said, this is not some concert. I'm not a rock star looking for women out in the audience to come backstage after the show. That's not what this is. I'm just one of you. I just happen to have the microphone, and then on Wednesdays and Sundays, the camera. Okay. For sure, she would have to like Iron Maiden. Well, Katrina, that may be the truth. So I just wanted everybody to understand that. Okay. That's just the way it has to be. All right. So there, I don't want to talk about that anymore because it even makes me weird kind of talking about it, but I felt that I had to. I need to take a question. Now, on that note, I did get a little bit of this is a good question though, and it comes from Sue because I did ask for some questions that were outside, and Cherie, no, Cherie's telling you the absolute truth. Cherie has talked to me enough to know. And I think that Emily would tell you the same thing if she was in here. We have good discussions. We have some arguments once in a while and some things. But, it's all professional. It's all in the goal of making Unfound better. So Sue asked me, what was my greatest vacation? Because I did ask for some questions that were outside of true crime tonight because I had so much true crime going on. Yes, Valerie, true crime groupies. Yeah. When it comes to trips, and Sue wanted to say outside of the United States, for so many years, my mom and dad and then I would get to take friends, my friend Doug, my friend Jerry, going way back. We would all go to Canada together fishing. We would go up to a place called Rice Lake, which is a couple hours above Toronto. That started in the mid to late 1970s. And we would go every year pretty much up till I moved to Las Vegas. And even then, I would come back to Pennsylvania and we would drive up there. A lot of good memories, caught a lot of fish. Probably when it comes to vacations outside of the United States, those are the ones that stick out to me. I mean, I've been to Rice Lake probably 25 times, so at least. So it was always a good time. And, I think now that my mother is gone, when I think of her, those memories from Canada come up because my mother loved to fish. Absolutely loved to get her line in the water and pull those bluegill and sunfish and rock bass out. I mean, when I think of her, that's one of the memories that comes to mind. So Sue, if you're in there tonight and you're watching, that's probably my greatest vacations outside of the United States. Blaze, did I hear about the host of Sword and Scale? Yeah, I did. I'm not getting into that. Not going to touch it. Carrie says, I can never think of questions until the show starts. That's okay, Carrie. Tammy said, that's funny, Tammy. I'm not going to read that, but that's funny. I think there are podcaster groupies. I think there are. That's a good one, Cammy. That's a good one. LaFord, I can see why it would happen. It's so rare to meet people with so much integrity. Develop a crush. Okay. Full Metal Jackalope, like Sword and Scale. Once again, I've never listened to it. I don't know the now, I guess, former host of him. I've heard. Let's put it this way. I've never listened to it. He is either the most misunderstood person in podcasting or he's a really bad guy. I don't know. I've never listened to the show, never met him, don't know him, nothing. So I'm just staying out of it. So that is my question for answer for Sue. And then D, who is in here, I know you're here, D. You wanted to know what my first job is. Oh, Sue is in here. Okay, well there you go, Sue. Yeah, going to Canada, packing up everything, going to a cabin, just going out and fishing every day, going out in the lake, motoring around, coming back, filleting the fish, cooking the fish. Just a great time. Great time. And I think that's one of the reasons that my mom and dad and I were so close because of those trips. I really believe that. But D asked me what my first job was. K-Boys Nose Rice Lake, I guess. Just a few hours from where I live. Great lake. Love it, K-Boys. Love it. And the Canadians have always treated us really well when we're up there. Always love those people. D, my first job, if you're asking me my first job in which I actually had to file with the IRS and everything, my first job of that type was actually, I was a flagman for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation during my summers while I was in college. So the summer of 1990, summer of 1991, the summer of 1992, I was a flagman. I would hold the stop, slow signs. That's what I did for 3 summers in Armstrong County. I would go out. Every summer they would hire a bunch of college kids to be flagmen, and I had that job for 3 summers. I loved it. Did not pay very well, but it was a good time. It was really good. It was a really good time. I got a lot of good exercise. Saw parts of Armstrong County that I would have never seen otherwise, and have some really good stories from that. So that was my first job in which I actually got a paycheck that went to the IRS and everything. Now, as far as first job period, while I was in high school, so from the time I was able to drive, so that would have been the beginning of 10th grade, because I turned 16 before I went into 10th grade. My birthday was August 1st, 1986. I was my Catholic church's organist. Because if some of you, what's this air? What is this air? Okay. I'm in the video to maintain smooth streaming as such. How do I look out there? Is it coming through okay? I got this air that's coming up. Anyway, I was the church organist for the my Roman Catholic church. I was an altar boy first, and then I became the church organist, even though I had no training on organ, but I played the piano since I was 5 years old, and so that's how I got that job. Let me see here if everything's working okay. Everything's working okay? Can everybody see me? I just have an error that came up right now. That doesn't make me feel very good. Is anybody here? Oh. Come on now. Don't freeze up on me. Don't freeze up on me. This Wirestream thing is such a mess. It really is. All right, I can actually see myself now. Now the question is, all good, Ed. Okay, hey, friend from Alabama. Okay, okay. Yeah, I couldn't see it for a little bit, and I gotta change this to live chat instead of top chat. Okay. Yeah, if I lost some people, this thing's just, I still gotta iron some things out here. So live chat. Okay, so everybody can see me. Good. All right, so everybody's still there. We still got a few viewers in here. It's just locking up a little bit, but that's my job. That was my organist job from 1986 through me graduating in 1989. That was my job, D. I hope that was okay. Everybody can see me. Good. I just don't know. There was an error that popped up, and it doesn't help that my internet service here is pretty slow compared to like where my brother lives over in Largo. My it's slow out here on this. Madeira Beach is essentially an island, especially this time of year because so many people are here, spring break and everything. It really slows the internet down. But D, that was really my first job, was being a church organist where they just paid me in cash. But then my first job were actually, IRS stuff, Social Security and all that, getting federal taxes taken out. I was actually working for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. All right, Valerie, you got the newsletter. Good. Okay. Man, we are just trucking along. We are covering a lot of material tonight. Any questions from all of you that you'd like answered? Because if not, I'm just going to go into some news. And it starts with Laureen Bible. And if you haven't heard, CNN is going to be doing a series on the disappearance of her daughter, Laura, and Ashley Freeman. Of course, a man is in custody, that Ronnie Busick guy. Of course, we don't believe that he acted alone. Of course, their bodies haven't been found yet. But she, Laureen, was able to raise the money, and she will be going to some sort of crime convention in New York City. And CNN is going to be doing this series about the disappearance. Before I get into what I want to say, I think it's fantastic that this case is getting the attention that it deserves. Okay? I couldn't have been more pleased that Laureen came on Unfound back in, I guess, September, October 2017. I think that we did one of the best interviews that's ever been done on that case. And then we, of course, know in 2018 that they kind of did figure out what happened, and we now know that there was a piece of evidence that the public didn't know about. So I'm very happy for her. Okay, and I think it's fantastic. The problem is that this case, it took 20 years to get this kind of attention. All right? And let's keep something in mind. And this is not something against CNN. This goes for all media outlets. The problem is that they don't get involved. The only reason CNN is probably covering this case now is because someone is in custody. Now, this is a case where there's still 2 missing girls, and there were 2 murders connected to it. And no media outlet saw fit to do a series on this disappearance until somebody's in custody. Isn't the time to do coverage of these cases when nobody's in custody? It's just, I just don't like it. I'm glad that Laureen is finally getting the attention she deserves. She deserved it back in 2000, right after this happened. Not in 2019. Once again, I'm ecstatic that they're going to finally be doing it, but it's about 19 years late. Cherie says, I want to know who chooses the picks for the episode. Family, Charlie Project, you. I usually just pick a picture. I've never had any complaints, Cherie, but yeah, I picked the picture. If you could pick classes to help investigate, which would you take? That's an interesting question, Carrie. I'm gonna have to think about that. Um, Leah got timed out by Cherie. Oh, good job, Cherie. Carrie, no closing doesn't make ratings for the media, major media, sadly. Carrie, that's you know, I, I think one of the things I think that we pride ourselves in at Unfound between Cherie, myself, and Emily is that we do the cases when we're ready to do them. There's no waiting for breaking news. There's no waiting for suspects to be caught or ever else. If somebody comes to us, the promise is always that we will get you on the program as quickly as possible. Now, there are some people who come to us, and I had this happen a couple times recently, where there aren't a lot of facts. And even in those cases, I tell the person, here's what I think you need to do. You do these things, come back to me, we'll talk about it. Maybe then we'll have enough information to cover the case. I still want to cover the case, even though I don't think there are enough facts there. But the promise is always that we will get the case on Unfound as quickly as possible. We don't care about the downloads and how popular the case is or anything else. We believe that these cases need attention, period. And the problem is that the media doesn't work that way. And on top of that, and I learned, this talking to a TV producer a couple year ago or something, that, the problem about doing a missing persons type of fictional TV show is because a lot of viewers expect there to be all tied up nicely at the end. Well, that's not how real life is. And I would never do a program that is not indicative of what happens in real life with missing persons cases. That's probably as Unfound continues to grow, that's probably one of the things that'll keep Unfound from turning into some sort of, fictional TV show and, stories, because I'm not going to take part in anything that depicts the missing persons community in the wrong light and misleads people. And I'll tell you, and I here's a perfect example. Once again, this is not to pick on CNN. This just happens to be the way it is. Last summer, after I covered Thomas Brown's case, there is a law enforcement official, not in Hemp Hill County, but she has become a confidant of mine. She is a deputy in Texas somewhere. Well, she has some connections to some media people in Texas. And one of those happens to be the regional office for CNN. I contacted her contact. He got back to me. I've talked to him on the phone. Good guy. Has been very, very nice to me. Thomas Brown's disappearance, and this was, of course, before the remains were found, is probably one of the best known true crime cases in Texas. I can't get CNN interested in covering it. Why? I think because of what we're seeing with the Laura Bible Ashley Freeman case, because no suspects are in custody yet. I think that's the reason. Now, I haven't talked to the guy in a while. Maybe I should give him another call or email tomorrow. But he was, and of course, this isn't the guy that makes the final decision, but he simply said, well, we just have other things to cover. We have a missing teenager, at least at that point. We have all of these facts, of course, the video and everything else, and CNN was not interested, and Penny knows this. I haven't talked to her about it recently, but she knows. I talked to her about it. And it's just a little hard for me to believe. Blaze says, how are you going to find a missing person if only a few know they are missing? True, Blaze. Chloe, they end up taking everyone for a ride at the family's expense. Stacy agrees with me. That's very smart of you, Stacy. Carrie, I believe it has a lot to do with some of the circumstances behind that case, too. It may, Carrie. It may. But, the thing is, CNN still hasn't covered the case even after Thomas's remains were found. That is a real stumper. But this just shows you the difficulty in getting this stuff covered. And then, but suddenly then, at least my perception, suddenly though, when the police have someone in custody, suddenly, all these media groups, they go in and they start covering it and they act like they've been covering it from the beginning. Which is the other side of that, which I think is a little underhanded and doesn't, it doesn't pass ethical muster. So, I don't think I've ever told you about me talking to CNN in Texas and me having and he just, could not be, I wouldn't say less interested. It's just, he goes, well, I just have other stories to cover. So this is my experience. Once again, I am happy that Laureen Bible is finally getting the attention she deserves. Okay? But once again, the only reason CNN is covering it now is because the suspect's in custody. And if a suspect hadn't been brought into custody last year, CNN would be still blowing off Laureen Bible. But the case would still be the same. There'd still be 2 murdered people and 2 missing girls. When will it air, Vicky? I don't know. I posted something in the group. It might be posted in there, but I forget. Carrie, if someone of authority is hooked on it, they will blast it like mad. If it was somebody famous, yeah, then they'd cover it. Ridiculous that they won't cover Thomas's case. I agree. Bree, you got to be a white girl with blonde hair to get attention around here. It's sad. It's interesting, Bree, because that reminds me of a conversation I had with Kelly Murphy, Jason Jolkowski's mother, way back in 2016. Leah, why was my question blocked? I didn't see your question, Leah. Cherie has her hands on the wrench tonight. I did not see it. Jasmine says, I think if they covered these cases when it happens, the case might be solved by now. I agree. Tammy, they don't like true crime stories that don't have a known villain they can sensationalize. Tammy, that is also true. I think that's a fantastic piece of insight there. Fantastic. Right. That's right. That's why I'm here tonight. Sherry Leah comments about the physical appearance of the host won't be entertained. Yeah, we can't go too far into that, Leah. If that's what it had to do about, I appreciate the jokiness and stuff, but trust me, I'll take any compliments I can get, but that's not really the forum to do it, and I've already talked about that early in the program. But I just wanted you also to know, and once again, this is not picking on CNN. This is Fox News, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, PBS, all the major channels everywhere, CNBC, whatever else, headline news. If they don't, once again, I think Tammy's right. If they don't have an angle, if they don't have a hook, and they don't have somebody that they could put pictures up and demonize and sensationalize, then I think they're just not interested. But some of these places, they'll keep spouting off, hey, we have new DB Cooper news. It's crazy. I just don't get it. And that's why, since Unfound has come to be, we cover cases as soon as we can get them on the air. Okay? That's how we do things. I don't care that there's no breaking news. I don't care if there hasn't been an article done on it in 30 years. I don't care if there are no suspects. I don't care. What I care about is, do we have enough facts to present a good picture to the audience? Okay? Do we have enough of that? If we don't, then it's going to be a little tough to do an episode. And like I said, I've run into that recently. But I don't just say, well, just go get more facts and come back to me. Each of these people, I gave them some suggestions. And I told them, any time you want to call me, email me, we could talk about what you found. And if you're having problems, we'll try to work them out. So even those people, I don't just push them away. I said, you know what? I think we just need some more facts and, here's some opinions. So, Karen, sorry, but which case are we talking about? Not a specific one. Actually, kind of, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman's case, and how it's going to have a series on CNN, and just some of the things that go on media that I don't like, and how they cover missing persons cases, and how they put it off until they can find some hook or something like that, which I think is wrong. That's what we're talking about, Karen. Okay, Leah. The case that he's talking about on CNN. So there you go. But I am ecstatic that Laureen, because my perception is that maybe she had been on Thin Air too. Of course, Thin Air isn't around anymore, but she had been on Thin Air maybe not long before I got to interview her. But I really don't know how many media opportunities she was getting. I don't know. So it's good that it's going to be a series. The tough part, though, is going to be finding Laura and Ashley's bodies. I just don't know if that's ever going to happen. Let's talk about something else, and then we'll get into the case for this Friday. Carol says, you are so right about the cable stations. I don't watch them anymore. Carol, I don't watch TV at all. So when I watch things, I find them on YouTube and other places. I love watching documentaries about World War II and stuff like that. Vicky, you talking to me? Have you talked to ID? I've not. Full Metal Jackalope Thin Air was good. Certainly gave some attention to some cases. I think their attitude toward the program was similar to Unfound, but they were, every other week? And I don't know what happened there, but they decided to disband. I don't know what happened there. I want to talk about Tara Grinstead. If you don't know, the trial of one of the guys involved in her disappearance and alleged murder is on trial right now. I think it's in day 3. It's not the main killer, if we're to believe the facts of the case. It's the other guy who helped get rid of the body. Of course, there's Randy Duke, who is alleged to have broken into Tara's place, killed her, and took her away. And then there's Bo Dukes, who is the guy that Ryan Duke enlisted to help him get rid of the body. Okay? Bree, you are thinking of Up and Vanished, Bree. So I read a little bit about what's going on, and Cherie, maybe I shouldn't say all legit questions. I have a concern, because what Bo Dukes said in a videotaped confession is that he says they stood there and burned the body until it turned to ash. All right. Now, as I've learned, coincidentally, because of the Laura Bible Ashley Freeman case, because I went and studied how bodies could be burned to ash, the human body it's very difficult to burn it to ash. All right. That's why we have crematoriums that are especially set up for that function. All right. You just can't throw a body into a bonfire and expect it to come out to an ash. That's not going to happen. All right. It's just not going to happen. And this was the main problem I had with people who thought that Ashley and Laura died in the fire and their bodies turned to ash. Not possible. The fire didn't burn long enough, and it didn't burn hot enough. So when this guy, Bo Dukes, is saying he watched her body turn to ash, I'm going to tell you, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I should also state that, they said that where they put her body, of course, Tara's body has still not been found. So there's something here still that doesn't seem 100% correct to me about all of this. There's a specific way to burn a body to make it turn to ash, and I don't think these two guys would know that. They might have burned her body, but they didn't burn it to ash. They did not do that. Sharon says, so sad a case. Bree, that's what it was. Thank you. You're welcome, Bree. Bodies don't turn into ash. Bones stay. Well, you can get the human body, as we know, with a crematorium, people who get cremated. The human body can turn to ash, but you have to burn it for like 30 minutes at like 2,000 some degrees. Well, even a house fire is only 1,200 degrees. So there's something about what Bo Dukes has said or said back then that I think is a lie. I think he lied in that confession from 2017 and said that he watched her body turn to ash. I do not believe that happened. Okay? Also, I guess the belief now is that Ryan Duke broke into Tara's place and she was home and he strangled her to death and then took her out and then took off. This, of course, contradicts some of the belief back then that maybe somebody was already in her house and then she came home and came upon somebody already in her place. We're now, we're now to believe that he went into her house knowing that she was there. This is something else that there's a big question mark in my mind about that. Also, the teeth don't melt either. I've thought that since the day they were arrested, Ed, something seems off. Tammy, me too. Cherie, it's definitely a great question for why we get into cases we do. I'm telling you, I know everything there is to know about Madeline, but not so much about the Laura Ashley case. Okay? Vicky, I've actually cried listening to some of these interviews. These families are heartbroken. They are, Vicky. Carrie, it's more combusts and shatters long before it turns to ash. Bree, yeah, my dad cremated. I just meant turning into ash by setting them on fire. Yeah, you just can't do that. That's not how it works. If that was the case, all these crematoriums would be out of business. Blaze, I agree. I've spoken to a cremation worker. They grind the bones and reburn. Right. Katrina, they were not burned in trailer fire, right? I thought that they were kidnapped and tortured. Yeah, Laura and Ashley. That's right, Katrina. That's right. But for Tara, what is being said in this trial now is that Bo Dukes is saying he watched Tara Grinstead's body turn to ash. I don't believe it. And I remind everybody that where they said the body was, or where the police thought, her remains have not been found yet. And so I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I'm guessing Bo Dukes is going to get convicted anyway. I mean, I'm under no delusions about this. I think he's going to get convicted anyway. I'm just telling you, I don't believe what he's saying. Now, when it comes to Ryan Duke, we'll just have to wait and see what goes on during that trial to see what he says. I know his attorney is trying to get something taken out his confession because he was on drugs or high or drunk or something like that. But the other thing to remember is that Bo Dukes was not there for the killing that Ryan allegedly did. The only thing that Bo Dukes knows is what Ryan told him. Bo Dukes, if we're to believe it, came in afterwards to help Ryan dispose of the body. Well, as long as we know that Bo Dukes did not see Ryan kill Tara, then anything is possible in this case. I don't know if people really realize that, but anything is possible. I just don't think that it's just nice and tidy and everything is tied up as securely as everybody thinks. I don't think. I think that there could still be some surprises in this case. Bree says, I think Bo's trial will be a hung jury or found not guilty. Really, Bree? See, once again, I allow people to disagree with me. I think he's going to get convicted, but what do I know? Torre says, that case is a big show now for TV. So sorry for the family of Tara Grinstead. Yeah, that could be Jorge. That's a good point. Bree, why can't Bo tell them where her body is? Well, I think that this comes back to possession. We know all about missing persons cases where somebody's been convicted. I mean, we did Angie Arnell. What was it, a month ago, 3 weeks ago? He went to jail, came back out, and still, I mean, he allegedly said where her body is, and it's obviously not in that lake. you know, the reason these mostly men do this is because they want to still control their victim. And one of the ways they do that is by never telling the police where the body actually is. I think that's what's going on in Tara's case. I'm pretty sure. Carrie, Rain's not found isn't good at trial looking man. Yeah, thank you, Carrie. Great minds think alike. Tammy, I've done a ton of research on false confessions. One of the primary signs that the confession doesn't match the evidence. Right. Carrie, accessory after the fact. She thinks Bo Dukes will get. Katrina, sorry, I was still on Freeman Bible. Katrina, no problem at all. You want to clarify? That's no problem at all, Katrina. Bree, I can see people nitpicking his confession like we are doing and think he is lying. All I know is you can't stand there and watch your body turn to ash on a fire. That's what I'm saying. That is just that defies the laws of physics. That's all I'm saying. Carrie, it's all a control thing. That is why they won't tell. Yes, Karen. Thanks, Ed. I had to leave the room for a few minutes, and when I came back, I was lost. Karen, it happens to me all the time. I'll get up from my couch to go get something in the kitchen, and I'll forget why I'm there. So, there you go. Oh, I know. Somebody asked me a question. I forget who it was. I want to answer one more question, and then we're going to. So that's enough about Tara Grinstead for tonight. I just maybe if you didn't know the trial was going on, it is, and I did post a link to a story about it in the group. Somebody asked me if I'm a believer in statement examination. And what this is when people maybe say things or write things that you can tell what they're thinking. I know there's a very popular website about how they can look at a person's words and be able to tell if they're lying or not. I think that what this person meant. Unfortunately, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. It was under the question mark thing. I want to make sure that I get this right. Hold on just a second. Okay. Oh, Cherie asked me. Oh, Cherie, you were asking me under the questions who picks. I usually choose the pick, Cherie. That's a good question. I know he's ever asked me that. It was Raina. Asked me, what is your opinion on statement analysis? I am not a big believer in it. I don't know if Raina's watching tonight, but that's funny, Carrie. I'm not a big believer in statement analysis. I guess I'm so out of mainstream. You've heard me criticize dogs. You've heard me criticize, these other things. Statement analysis, I think, is once again one of those things that's a little like witchcraft to me. It's a little bit like psychics. People being able to read what somebody wrote or look at somebody what they say somewhere and then be able to determine what they're really thinking. It's like people who do like body and language analysis. Well, you know what? There's something that can get around that. It's called acting. It's no different when you watch a movie. People look sad. They're acting. They're not really sad unless it's like the the method acting or something like that. I'm not a big believer in any of that stuff. I think even we as humans, we know what it's like to be a human. I think we underestimate the ability of other people to lie to us. I think we underestimate. We think that there's like some little extrasensory perception that we have. Well, they were doing this and they said this. And I really think, and I include myself in that. I want you to know I include myself. I think we overestimate our ability to tell that people are lying or telling the truth. So because of that, I'm not a big believer in statement analysis. Carol had asked me why I decided to move to Florida to be closer to family. Carol, I don't know if you're in here. That's why I moved, but one of these days I do see myself moving back to Las Vegas because I love it there. I think that's my favorite city. Cherie, I picked the pick, and Tammy asked me, okay, Tammy, you're in here. I asked on the other page, but I'll post here. If you could take a trip to anywhere in the world, a place you've never been, where would you go? Why? Um, Tammy, I'm not a big traveler. I don't like flying on planes. I don't like being cooped up like that and everything for long periods of time. Um, but you know what I think would be fascinating? I think it'd be fascinating for me to see Hong Kong. I think every time I've ever seen it in a movie, like in like a Bruce Lee movie or James Bond movie, and all those buildings stacked on top of each other and so close to the water and everything. I think it'd be really interesting to experience that, even though I'd have to fly like for 30 hours or something to get there. But I'm not a big traveler. I don't have some big desire to go see Europe or anything like that. Maybe go down to the Caribbean if I ever have any time or something like that, because it's a nice short flight down there. But Hong Kong jumps up to me, Tammy. It does, for a lot of different reasons, like the culture over there. I'd love to try the food in Hong Kong. Just the atmosphere looks fascinating to me. So there you go. Um, so let's talk about this Friday's case. Man, it's been a long show. I've been on here a long time. We're doing a great show tonight, and you've all been excellent. K-Boy says, Ed, are you going to be cooking something in the convection oven after your program? No, I don't cook. K-Boys, I do not cook. So no. But that's funny. Thank you. Lori seems like isolation is a precursor to many who disappear. It can be. Carrie, okay, that answered your question, Carrie. Tammy, thank you. Carrie says she loves road trips. Joyce, I think that a lot of it is hokey, meaning statement analysis. Cherie says, oh, it's a marriage made in heaven. I'm joking, of course, but personally, I don't believe in dogs, psychics, or handwriting analysis. Yeah. Carrie, you are going to get grounded. Okay, let's talk about this Friday's case. It's the disappearance of Shannah Boiteau. It's not Boiteau. I've been pronouncing it Boiteau. It's actually Boiteau. She disappeared from the St. Cloud, Minnesota area on June 22nd, 2016. She was allegedly going on a trip with her boyfriend Kyle, and they were allegedly heading to California. What had happened to Shanna is that she was on probation and she had failed a breathalyzer test. She believed that that was going to put her back in jail for a very long time. So she was going to make one last trip of it before, they brought her in and threw her back in jail. And she was planning, allegedly, with Kyle to drive the whole way to the Pacific Ocean from Wisconsin through Minnesota the whole way over to California to see the Pacific Ocean and come back before she got taken to jail. Well, not far into that trip, Kyle claims that she freaked out. He pulled over to the side of the road. She ran off into the woods and disappeared. And, of course, search dogs were brought in. The police came in. She was never seen again. The guest for this episode is her mother, Angie. And we conducted that interview yesterday. Now, of course, there's going to be some questions. Is Kyle telling the truth? Did that actually happen? What was Shanna actually thinking about going to California? Why was she doing this? Was she really going on the run? And there are a bunch of other facts and some other things in video that we will talk about during the interview, during the episode on Friday. But the reason that this episode is being called The Fear Factor is because it seems, if this is the truth, if Shanna did think she was going to jail for a long time because she failed this breathalyzer at home while she was on probation, she was wrong. Her family ended up finding out afterwards that she probably just would have been taken to jail for a couple days and it wouldn't have been any big deal. Instead, though, she somehow thought that she was going to jail for a long time, and it was that fear of going to jail that put these sequence of events together that what happened for her to eventually go missing. People are suspicious of Kyle. People are suspicious of some other things. But we are calling this the fear factor because it was Shanna's fear of going to jail for a long time that put her out on that highway, allegedly, in the first place. So it's Shannah Boiteau, Boiteao. This disappearance, very kind of new disappearance, June 22nd, 2016. Carrie says, I already have several questions about this one. I've been reading on Shanna today. Well, I hope we get those questions answered, and of course, we'll be able to talk about it Sunday night as well, Carrie. Jean, subtle clues she revealed, not realizing it. Carrie, if she was going to go for any length of time for failing that test, they would have taken her into custody right away, not leave her and let her go get her later. Well, that's one of the things, but we're not sure why the police officers didn't take her into custody when she failed that. Carrie, that is something that is still very unclear. We don't get to the bottom of that in the interview. But it does seem that Shanna overreacted to what happened that day. And in fact, to this point, the day that they believe she took the breathalyzer has been wrong. It was actually June 19th, which was a Sunday, she took the breathalyzer, not the 17th, as has been documented in many places. So there you go. That's the show for tonight. Man, I've been on for like an hour and a half. It's been great. Love it. So what did we talk about? We talked about how I'm using Wirestream now, which seemed to have worked out tonight. Thank you. Powerball tonight in 45 minutes. I got my tickets. Too late to get yours. I've lost 9 pounds since I came back from Pennsylvania, and my goal is 175. So I still have about 6 pounds to go. I need some new transcribers, technically formatters. So please contact me if you'd be interested in that. Talked a little about my personal life more than I usually like to. Gave you some updates on Chris Turner and Devin Brown Bucetta's cases with some good work by Cherie. And Chris Turner's case is now reopened in Las Vegas. Did you get the newsletter? The Thomas Brown maps. We now maybe have a better idea of where remains were found. And then jeffwise.net I will be posting when my guest blog is on there. I'll be posting that everywhere possible. We talked about Laureen Bible and Laura Bibles and Ashley Freeman's case. It's going to be covered as a series on CNN. We talked about Tara Grinstead. I took some great questions from the viewers tonight, some really good questions that were off the topic of a true crime. And then Friday, the disappearance of Shannah Boiteau, an episode we are calling The Fear Factor. Let me read some things before I go here. Jean says there's a special interviewing Madeline McCann's mother doing statement analysis. It was very interesting. No, I disagree, as there's so subtle clues that are revealed. Okay, Jean. Great show tonight. Thank you, Full Metal Jackalope. When I'm going to go. It's been great tonight. But you will hear me on Friday when I conduct that episode, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the interview of Shannah Boiteau's mother, Angie. We had a great interview. She did a great job. And then for some of you, I haven't mentioned the think tank, getting good work done there. You can become a Patreon member at the $12 a month level or higher. You can join us on the think tank on Sunday nights, where we will talk in depth about the disappearance of Shannah Boiteau. Thank you all. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you for support. Thank you for all of you just being you and taking an interest in Unfound in all these cases. I'll see everyone. Have a great night. Please have a safe weekend. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much. Favorite time of the week. Good night. I hope the button works. I'm going to just keep waving until I'm sure that it's done. Maybe I have to go over here. Oh, there we go.